Matt Judon has another for the Patriots back in the 28.
Turn that man loose.
The Patriots Postgame Show, presented by Cybereason, with Hardy, Mike Dussault, and Paul Perillo, is your source for all the news and information following every Patriots game.
Shotgun snap to Mac Jones. Fires to the end zone. Caught at the goal line. It's a touchdown for Hunter Henry as the Patriots add to their lead.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I hope y'all keep that same energy for tonight, baby. Can't wait.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Slipping and sliding, he was like a cat. Pop, pop, bang.
All right, welcome in. It's Patriots.com. It is the post-game show presented by Cybereason. I'm Christian Arcand, in for Hardy. Nice to have you with us here this evening. A Patriots win over the Browns, 38-15, the final score. And for most of the game, it didn't really seem that close. You had a little bit of a scare there in the second half, to be sure. But the Patriots able to put this one away. A game that I don't think went the way any of us really thought it would. I don't think that anyone was expecting such a high volume of passing in a game like this. I think we all thought there was going to be a lot more ground and pound. Let's go ahead and start right there. Game plan clearly favoring the Patriots.
Yeah, it seemed like the Browns came out and said, oh, you guys are going to try to stop our run, aren't you? We're going to throw it or try to throw it, and it wasn't all that successful. So I think that played a little bit into the Patriots' plans. I do think the Patriots had good run defense when they tried to run it. I don't think the Browns really tried to run it that much, but I kind of think Bailey Zappe was the difference today. The plays that he made and that big run on third down by Ramondre for the touchdown, I thought those were the plays that the player and the play that made the big difference today.
I said before the game, if things change in terms of the way that the offense is operating and the way that Zappe is playing, it might introduce a different narrative to the conversation. Listen, I think that you got to start to that today. That was conventional offense. They were throwing the ball much more frequently than they did last week. They didn't just line up and settle for field goals when they got close. They asked him to do a lot more today. I thought he was very comfortable in what he was asked to do. I also want to say that there was one particular juncture on the third and one where you're looking, you're like 2-down territory, just run it twice. You're in the red zone. Just get the first down. Instead, they go play action. They spring Hunter Henry wide open for a touchdown. Just everything was really well done today. Everything was well done.
Great throw there on the video. Just a lot of those close passes today.
Yeah.
I mean, right on the money to Parker.
They got some penalties that they overcame.
Yep.
And I think that I'm not going to tell you that there's going to be pitchforks out in front of Belichick's office demanding that they make a change. But I think today I saw a glimpse of the reasons to support the Zappe fever.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a conversation to be had now. I think
Are you switching parties? Are you going to switch parties here?
I mean, I'll reserve it to see a little bit more, but
like Tulsi Gabbard.
But today, he did things today that he didn't do in the first two games that he played, and he played at a much higher level today than he did against Green Bay or against Detroit, and on the road against a middling team that was similar to you. I thought he was in control today and played really, really well. Made very few mistakes. Yeah. Very few.
I mean, I don't want to. I don't know what this is going to say, but it's like Mac did last year. He completed 70% of his passes. He didn't really make the mistakes. It's which one of them is better and has the higher ceiling. I think that's the part where you debate. But overall, really solid.
Yeah, and again, this is sort of selective recall, but Mac Jones last year, when he was completing 70% of those passes, was throwing a lot of screens and passes behind the line and, really kind of easily set up plays like that. And I feel like Bailey Zappe, it's not like they're running a complicated RPO offense or anything, but it does seem like he's pushing the ball downfield better and maybe is even a little bit more accurate on his downfield throws. I think there were a couple of instances where Zappe was hitting guys right in stride, and it's not that they were throws that Mac couldn't make, but maybe that Mac hasn't been making this year, wasn't making in the first couple of games this year, and they weren't complicated. Like, that's the thing. Like, Mac had trouble, it seemed like, with basic stuff. Zappe's right there. I mean, he's not having trouble with anything right now.
No, at least what they're asking him to do, he did it well today. He showed strides, and I mean, I'm sure as we get into the good, the bad, he'll be in there. But yeah, just I mean, look, we talked about it. Paul and I were pumping the brakes a little bit, but I think now after that game, it's.
But I said if I see differences, I'm not going to be stubborn and bang my head against the wall and tell you how right I am, and and just blindly support one side or the other. I didn't do it with Brady Bledsoe, and I'm not going to do it with these two guys. I mean, who've accomplished nothing close to what Brady and Bledsoe accomplished. So I'm going to be consistent. If one guy's playing better than the other, then the guy's playing better should continue to play. And right now, today, Zappe played better than Mac has played, for sure.
Yeah. Good team.
So then what happens next week?
Well, we're
probably jumping to that
the bad
a
and the injured before we worry about next week.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Sounds
then.
like a second-hour topic.
Without any further ado, how about the good, the bad, and the injured?
Now it's time for the good.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
The bad.
Hey, what happened?
And the injured.
You all right, guy?
All right, we got good, we got bad, we got injured. Who wants to start?
Let's just keep the Zappe trains rolling. I'll keep it going here with putting Zappe on there. I think you're right. It's funny, Arkin. I just looked back real quick, just to compare the performances against the Browns. Zappe's 24-34, 9.1 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns. Last year, Mac was 8.6 yards per attempt, so 19-23, 82.6%. 3 touchdowns, so similar
under
kind of things.
200 yards though, right?
Yeah, 198. So definitely
similar numbers.
Similar numbers,
but I think
efficiency.
Zappe goes down the field more. I just
but the average per attempt is very similar.
That is true. It is similar.
5 yards, but regardless, I think. Look,
I thought you said 9 point something and 8.
9.1 and 8.6, so half a yard.
Half a yard, not 5 yards.
Half a yard, half a yard more. But just like plays we're seeing here again, they're showing that Parker one with the slant. I mean, just good pocket presence. Seemed to have a little bit of a sense of getting away from pressure. I mean, hitting these throws on the outs. These are the where you see the arm strength. You want to see him get it out there. I mean, decisive, that one to Hunter Henry. I think some of the biggest plays they did the most damage on, the Jonnu Smith one, the Hunter Henry touchdown, those ones were a little bit more, scheme and run after catch. But overall, it's the kind of performance they love. He didn't do anything crazy.
Yep.
He took what was there and he played to the game plan, and he was excellent today.
And I thought, you want to talk about that game with Cleveland last year, and I do think the number. I mean, Zappe got more opportunities to throw, and he threw for more yards. But I'm also that's also comparing in my mind to Mac Jones' best game last year. I thought that Cleveland game was his best game.
Me too. Yeah.
So it's kind of apples to apples. That was 7, 8, 9 starts into Mac Jones' career. This is the second career start for Bailey Zappe. The fact that we're talking about it, to me, in and of itself is interesting. And I think that you're going to get a lot more talk about it this week.
If you had it before this game, you're going to have even more.
You're going to get a lot more talk about it this week, and I think it's worth continuing to discuss because I think he's put. What I was most impressed with today is how many times they got behind the chains, and rather than run it a couple of times to try to do something, trick them, it was a couple of passes.
Yeah.
To get back on track. And
I agree with Paul. I felt like a couple of times I'm like, this is a spot where they might just try to run it and, wave the white flag a little bit. If they pick it up, great, but live to fight another day, and they seem more aggressive today with them.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go to a guy who hasn't really gotten a lot of love so far as a Patriot. He made a couple of big plays in the game. That's Jonnu Smith. And, the play was just breaking tackles and finding a way to make some plays. So, what do you have here? 2 catches for 61 yards with the big 53-yarder that kickstarts the second half and showing nice highlight now. And he break this. These are the kinds of athletic plays they talked about that I thought would be very important. So, to me, to see him make some plays and contribute, it was like a huge weight lifted off his shoulders.
Yeah. I mean, just here when he pops up like that, this celebration right here, it just, especially coming back off an injury. I mean, had an ankle injury, missed the game last week. I mean, that's frustrating in itself. But, yeah, just these are the kind of plays, that you've been looking for out of Jonnu Smith. This one came up a little short before the first down, but yeah, the other one was a great one.
Yeah, that play had everything. He broke 2 tackles. He had a nice open field right. He got caught eventually, but He didn't drop the ball. A guy was trying to knock it out, and it was just it was
and it's just one play, and I know it's just one play, but it was it was just
start of the third quarter, get it all rolling.
And it's the guy who makes it too. It's a guy who hasn't been able. I think I also want to give him credit just for being on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he had a high ankle sprain, reported high ankle sprain that he suffered in Green Bay, and everybody said the reports indicate he's going to be out a while. Well, he wasn't out a while. He missed a game.
Yeah.
So I give him credit. He contributed to the win, and I think that first drive of the second half was an important one for the Patriots. They had the 10-3 lead at the break, and he largely was responsible for making it 17-3.
Yeah. All right. So we got Zappe. We got Jonnu Smith.
6, whatever it was. I don't know. What was the time? What was the score at that time?
Sorry.
It was 10-6 at the. It was 10-6. So
10-6 at the
made
half.
it 17-6
Right.
at that point in the third quarter.
Good. All right. So there's 2 goods. I'm gonna use my good for. There's a couple of guys I could give it to on the defense. I was thinking about giving it to Tyquan Thornton because he had a good game today and scored his first touchdown. But I think that Devon Godchow, Lawrence, guy didn't play, but Godchow for sure, Dietrich Wise, Judon, the guys in the middle, I thought did a very, very nice job of clogging up the running lane, stacking the box. That was my big key to this game. So I'm going to go. I'll give it to Godchow. He had a sack in this game.
Yeah.
I thought he played really well. I thought the entire front really was strong against Chubb, who did start to run a little bit in the fourth quarter. It was way too late by then. I thought that was really weird sort of play calling on Cleveland's part, which we'll get to in a second. But I think part of the reason why they had to call the plays that way is because every time they tried to run the ball in the first quarter, those guys were right there in the kitchen, and they were shutting them right down. And Chubb was really not much of a factor until way too late. So I'll give it to Godchow and those and the big guys up front there.
Yeah, we'll mention Carl Davis too. Got an interception there at the
That's
end.
right. Yep.
Another big fatty.
Fumble
Fumble
recovery.
Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, I know. I'm in total agreement with you. I mean, I thought Dietrich. He's not on the line yet, is he? I was going to talk positively about him.
I didn't want to kiss his ass too much.
No,
and make it
I
seem
didn't
like
want to.
yeah.
But I thought he was. I thought he was
great.
really active today.
And the quarterback sneak stop
yeah.
was important at the beginning of the game.
Yep, absolutely. Keeping the train moving. Kyle Duggar. I mean, I know he had gave up a catch in coverage, but otherwise, I thought it was an excellent day for him.
Duggar.
Strong tackling. You started off with the interception, kind of set the tone for the day. Wanted a fast start. Kyle Duggar gave it to you, but I just thought he was a physical presence, especially on the edge a couple times. He just seemed like he just seems like he's knowing where to be and what to do at the right moments, and he's making plays right now. And I think we're really starting to see it come together for Kyle Duggar, which is just a great sign for this defense.
Duggar, go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm just going to say, still like him much more at or around the line of scrimmage. His physicality just jumps at you every game. He's blowing up a running back on a blitz or coming up and dropping somebody after a 2-yard gain on a short throw. He was rewarded with the pick on the second play of the game today. Just a strong all-around game for Duggar, I thought.
Yeah, he led the team in tackles. He had 2 pass deflections, which I think was the most of any player because they were testing him. And he did give up that big play in the first quarter. And on his interception, if that was a better thrown ball, that was probably a touchdown. Duggar did step in on that play-action fake. But after that, I feel like they didn't really test him that much anymore, which again may have been a Cleveland problem more so than a Duggar thing. But when they did test him, he was mostly out there knocking balls away. And you guys are right. I mean, he's like Bob Sanders out there on the run when he stacks that box. He's bigger than Sanders.
I know he looks like a big Bob Sanders.
Yeah,
out there, which is a good thing.
Bob, he ate Bob Sanders. But yeah, he's really. I mean, he's a difference maker out there when it comes to a team like this. And listen, Cleveland, Chubb's an elite running back, and I was a little worried that this was going to be another example of the Patriots kind of feasting on the Lions without Swift or good running backs who they didn't have to go up against. They went up against him, and he was not a factor. So yeah, that was certainly in part because of Kyle Duggar.
Ooh, Buffalo making some mistakes here. Sorry.
That
I
should
got red
be an
zone.
incomplete pass, by the way. I think this is a bad call. This goes directly sideways. Which is considered forward.
That's right.
But they called it a fumble.
Fumblerooski.
Okay.
Who's up? Can I go? You go.
You did. Doug. I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Devontae Parker, who I thought made an impact in this game with a couple of big catches. Ends up with 4 for 64. Had a 29-yarder on the first drive. Set the tone for that drive that ended up with a field goal. I thought he showed up, made some plays again. The slants that we saw a little bit of in the preseason, Mike.
Yep.
Saw a couple of those today where he's using his his body to shield off defenders.
Yeah.
I thought he had a strong game.
Yeah, big 29-yard sideline fade, same kind of thing. And that in the first possession that was, big, helping them stay on time and ultimately ended up with a field goal. But yeah, I had Parker too. Nice game for him. Kind of a little of everything that he does: contested catches, slants. Would have liked to maybe see him get a touchdown. I saw that there was some yelling going on the sidelines. I don't know what that was about, but
I wonder if maybe he was
Brown,
just saying,
yeah.
"Hey, give me a chance to make a play on a fade down there."
Yeah.
We ran it, couldn't get it in.
Yeah,
Give me a chance to make a play on a
This
fade.
is the big one right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he had an impact on the game. He made a couple of big plays.
Yep.
Christian, you got something?
Yes, my other one be Hunter Henry, who in this game today had a season high in yards, tied for a season high in receptions, and had a season high in targets. And he also got in the end zone. So, he's had the year started off pretty quietly for him. There wasn't really much that he was contributing, certainly through the first 3 weeks. But against Detroit, he had that nice game. He's had another one here. So he seems to be, back on the upswing. And that's an important thing for this offense and an important thing for Zappe or Mack or whoever it is. They need him out there producing.
Yeah, of all the things of like Bailey and Mack comparison, like Mack not really going into him this year, and now it seems like Zappe has developed a little bit of a chemistry with him in some key spots. So just solid production for him. Got the touchdown, of course. I'm sure it feels good for Hunter Henry. I'm sure he feels like he's getting on track right now.
Mike, you got any more?
I just kind of wanted to give more of a general one to the secondary coverage. I think you could point to Mills on a play.
I had Jalen Mills individually,
yeah,
but for the same kind of mentality that you're talking about.
We talked. You said it a couple times, Paul. I thought the same exact thing. Just every pass they completed was contested, was tight. The coverage was good. I can't tell you how many catches the Browns made on this day where it was like, man, they just managed to squeeze
Cooper
it in
and
there.
Peoples-Jones had to make a couple of really difficult plays with guys right on him. And Mills was, the interception, obviously he gets hit when he throws it. It's a punt. But there were other plays where he had really, really solid coverage in this game and made life difficult.
Yeah, and I can't believe. Amari Cooper, 12 targets, 4 catches. Just a credit to the secondary.
All right, and joining us right now here on the phones, let me first say that a big thank you to our sponsor, Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL and the New England Patriots, that provides players and coaches with the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the powerful Surface Pro 8, combining the power of a laptop with the flexibility of a tablet over at Surface.com. Joining us right now, made a big difference in this game today. Dietrich Wise joins us here on the hotline. Dietrich, nice win there today. How you feeling after this one?
Feeling great. Very excited.
Hey, Dietrich, did it surprise you at all that it seemed like they came out and wanted to maybe throw a little bit more, maybe anticipating you guys were going to gear up to stop Chubb in the running game? Did that surprise you guys, or were you kind of prepared that they might come out and try to throw the ball a little bit more?
No, we were very prepared. They have a great run game with Hunt and Chubb, and we knew if we were able to stop them, then he'll always go to his favorite receiver, which is Coop. And that's something that was our main goal, just stopping the run, making them one-dimensional. And once we put the ball in Jacoby's hands, then the next game plan was get after the pass.
Okay, so we know that was the game plan, Dietrich. How did you guys execute it so well? Because even when they did run Chubb, you guys never really allowed him to pick up much steam.
Yeah, our coaching staff did a fantastic job of putting us in a good front, beating their old linemen, being able to push the old line back, making him stop his feet. And if he did hit the edge, we had other guys around us to help set the edge, or if he wanted to cut back, other guys coming in. And we kind of just made him fluster him a little bit. He's a really good running back, fantastic running back, but he's really good when he's coming downhill and his feet not moving. It's like his feet keep moving. Once we stop his feet, once we have him try to change direction, that's when he becomes very easily to tackle.
We're joined by Dietrich Wise. Dietrich, you're kind of breaking out this year, and I don't know if anyone's told you that yet, but you're kind of busting out this year. I have a question about that celebration. Was that a volleyball celebration we saw after that say?
Yes, it is. When I get PBUs, I like to do a little volleyball celebration. It's a little honor to my wife. She played volleyball, so every time I bat the ball down, I give her a little bump. That's like
very nice.
Dietrich, last week you guys got the shutout. This week, just one touchdown. What can you say about just the complementary nature of the defense right now? It seems like the pressure's playing well on one snap. The secondary's making plays on the ball and getting turnovers. It just seems like you guys are all really starting to find your stride here after 6 games.
It's a fantastic thing to see when we're playing together. There's an old saying that the pass rush and the coverage should always be married. That means when the pass rush is, when the guys up front 7, when they're getting to the quarterback, stopping him, stacking him, or pressuring him, and the ball is coming out, then the DBs are able to either lock the receivers down or capitalize on bad throws and get a pick. So we're just playing together, and that's something that we always wanted to do. And I want to say we've been doing it, but it's just getting better and better, and we're becoming more and more in sync every week.
Well, I have to ask you about the big guys with the football in their hands. Carl Davis, he's got the ball and he's in open space. What did you guys see? You guys
get into the end zone.
Have we addressed this yet?
we talked about it. He did a fantastic job picking that ball up and running. That's a lot of space for a big guy, but he did a wonderful job keeping the ball in his hands. And he tried to do a little cut move, but hey, he got to keep working on his elusiveness as a running back. So.
Dietrich, you guys were without Lawrence Guy. You wouldn't have known it from the way you guys played. What do you have to do to sort of make up for his absence in a game like this?
Well, first of all, he's on the sidelines, and he's doing a wonderful job helping us, seeing things that we're not able to see. It helps us out kind of like being a second coach. Even though we miss him on the field, he's giving that great intake, and we have to pretty much cover his ability to stop the run. He's a fantastic run stopper, and when he was out, then it kind of made other guys have to step up. I'm playing a little inside more now. Big Sam, our rookies coming in there, Carl, DG, and Tommy Hill doing a wonderful job on the inside along with Christian Baltimore. So it doesn't put pressure, but we all just have to step up and do a fantastic job in his absence.
All right, well, we'll leave it right there. Dietrich Wise, great game today. Enjoy the win. Enjoy your time in Cleveland.
Thank you very much, and you have a great day.
All right.
Safe travels, Dietrich.
Thanks, Dietrich.
Dietrich Wise, who was everywhere today. He had a lot of big plays
the defense was dominant again.
Yeah.
It's just so long, and, the length that he has on those pass rush, he's a handful for anybody who's got to block that guy.
Yeah, and am I crazy, or is that the most Patriots players ever said about anything? I mean, those were long answers.
I know.
I'm not used to Patriots talking that long.
No, and he's just one of the best guys on the team. I mean, having been here a few years now and getting to know guys. I mean, there's just nobody who has a more like big smile, positive energy, just walking through the locker room, big old grin on his face, tapping people on the opposite shoulder. Mm-hmm. It's just that's Dietrich Wise, and it's so cool to see him explode this year. I can admit I didn't see this kind of coming, but he's off to a great start, and if he can keep it up, this defense can be really good.
Yeah, he's one of those guys from that that weird draft year where they didn't draft till like the 3rd round or whatever it was.
Well, me and Paul call it the 6-year breakout.
Yeah, exactly.
6-year jump.
And I mean, it's funny because I'm looking, at his stats, from the past, and he's had a few more sacks, and he's got 4 already this year. But he's been consistent. I mean, 5, 4.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 4. So, the last couple of years has been down maybe a little bit, but just one of the surprises of the year and a welcome one.
Yeah. Should we take some calls, sir?
No, we got to do the good, the bad.
Oh, that's right. We didn't even finish that.
I have one more good that I want to throw in.
I'm glad you guys are here to remind me.
And that's Bill Belichick. With win number 324 to tie George Hallis. I know these. Me the least of all. Kind of the SID stats I like to call them. Do those on your own time. There are some differences and there are some exceptions to my whacked out rules. And one of them is when you're chasing immortality and. Now he is tied now just in second place. Only one guy ahead of him in Don Shula. So congrats to Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and I mean, tied with Hallis. They're playing the Bears next week, so could pass Hallis next week.
Right.
I know, Christian, you mentioned Thornton briefly. I know we didn't light it up, but 2 touchdowns for a rookie. Not like any plays like, oh my God, but I love that he's getting involved and that he's getting some confidence off of these plays. Hopefully they can find a way to get him in space so he can use his speed a little bit more. But I like getting to see him have some success out there just here in his second game. So I think a lot of rookies, Marcus Jones even on that one pass defense he had almost had an interception. A lot of rookies showing up right now. It's a real good sign.
Yeah, it is a good sign. And with Bourne having to leave this game, Aguilar didn't play in this game, they might need him. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
there's a very real possibility that he's going to get leaned on. He's going to get some targets, and hopefully he can keep being productive against these teams. The Jets coming up, who are now good. Apparently, the Jets are now this good team, and Chicago next week, who is not a good team. So yeah, there you go. All right, are we done on goods?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I'm good for good.
I'm good on good.
All right, who's got some bads? It's not much. It's going to be a quick one, I think.
I know.
Right?
Well,
There's not a whole lot here. I mean, the penalties are the thing that stick out to me. We had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more pre-snap penalties, plus another timeout to avoid a delay of game. So this kind of stuff needs to be cleaned up. They were able to overcome it today because I think the offense had a really effective day, efficient and effective day.
Yeah.
But you're not always going to find that. You're not always going to be able to, just overcome 1st and 15, 1st and 25, I think, at one point. So that was one thing that I had on my bad list.
Yeah, I mean, I would just, connect Wynn to that one, the strip sack, and, 2 penalties for him. One. But, it's just Cannon got in there for a little bit, so it still seems like they're still just kind of flirting with that kind of move. But, I'd throw him on there too.
Yeah, I thought the tackles both struggled with Miles Garrett, but they didn't let him destroy the game. So that was big too.
Fine.
Yeah, that's really it. Other than that, there's not much you can point to. I thought the return game was pretty good. I thought.
Could we give a light one?
Yeah, I didn't like the special teams today.
I was going to throw special teams just with the onside kick. It didn't seem like they were well coordinated on that onside kick. Seemed like Jennings let it go, and
the onside kick they allowed to get recovered. The kickoff return, they got it out over the 25 every time except for the one that the guy fell on his face at the 10. And they really didn't get anything out of the return game. So
yeah, and the missed kick too. I guess you could maybe
put
that under.
Throw that in there. Throw that in there. But again, this is like nitpicking stuff when you win 38-15.
Right. That otherwise. Yeah, I'm good. I mean, there are a couple plays, but overall, I mean, I thought it was just a real good team win.
Yeah, and even then, Jones did have one good punt return for like 16 yards.
Yeah.
Yep.
But overall, they didn't get to the 25 on kick returns. They allowed the Browns to get past the 25, I think, 3 times.
It's frustrating.
Wasn't a great day on special teams.
No, and you wouldn't know it from the final score, but that whole sequence, if Cleveland had kicked the extra point.
Then you don't have to onside kick.
If they had kicked an extra point there, you don't onside kick, which I think they recovered, by the way. I thought they were very fortunate to get that call overturned. I didn't think there was any kind of evidence to overturn that call.
Yeah.
Every replay we saw, it looked like obstructed of whether he touched the ball or not.
And I know the rule.
Yeah.
I know what the rule says if that guy is out of bounds and touching the ball. I just didn't see anything that definitively said he was making contact with the ball. Unless they had a replay that we weren't privy to.
And if the call on the field was that he touched it, then I think that would have stood too, because there wasn't evidence to overturn it either way.
Right.
But the fact that they overturned it, I thought was
overturn
very,
it. Yeah,
it was really weird.
Yeah, and again, it was like, even though that the guy touched it well out of bounds, Mike's point stands to me is that they didn't really play it well.
Yeah, it looked like Jennings was letting it go.
The ball was
as if he was thinking it was going to go
out of bounds.
The ball was
free. The ball was free to be recovered.
There. Yeah.
Okay, so Isaiah Wynn and a couple of special teams plays, and that's basically it for the bad.
What are you going to do?
To the injured.
Yeah, we can run it down. I mean, Barmore with knee out. That's I don't know. After last year, I don't know how you feel, Paul, but I'm kind of like still optimistic he's going to be all right. I know he had the knee injury. Maybe it's connected to what happened to him this week. And
that would be my concern, is whatever he did on Friday at practice was aggravated in the game.
Exacerbated, so we'll keep an eye on that one. I mean, Bourne went out with a toe injury, 84. He did not return. Cody Davis walked off under his own power. Not sure. I didn't see an announcement on that one.
I didn't see an announcement. It looked like a knee, but I don't know exactly what the deal was there.
Wise went out for a second there, but came back and talked to us, so I'm going to guess that he's A-okay.
What'd you guys think of Barmore's season up to this point?
Quiet.
Right? Yeah.
For a guy who I thought really showed flashes of being a disruptive playmaker last year, you haven't seen much of that this year from him.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's I'm trying to balance right now that he's hurt and that they've had 2 really good defensive performances, not getting too caught up. Well, why isn't this guy playing good? But I think it's an apt criticism, and people have asked him directly about it, and you'll get your usual responses of, oh, he's taking one for the team, but still, I think passing downs, you're going to need that guy, especially against the real good teams, to make a difference.
How much do you think they'll miss Bourne? I mean, he's had a weird season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on Aguilar, too.
Great description of that. He has had a weird season. You know, born like, you know, even this game.
Yeah.
You know, he comes out, first down they get is a big play for him on third. I think it was like 3rd and 7. Something like that.
You're right.
You know?
Yep.
And then he, I think, suffered a toe injury and really, I don't think ever got back in the game.
Just a toe. It's random. You know, one of those things.
So, yeah, he has had a weird season.
Very weird. He's produced.
Wow.
You know, whenever he's out there, he does something good.
Just if you can give him like 5 snaps a game, he'll get 3 catches. But you play him 10 snaps, and
Yeah.
He'll get you 3 catches.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Leroy Hood.
no matter what you do.
If it's 3rd and 2, he'll get you 3. If it's 3rd and 10, he'll get you 3.
That's right. All right, well, there you go. I think unless anybody has anything else, there you go. That you're good,
No.
you're bad,
And you're injured.
and you're injured from this 38-15 win by the Patriots over the Cleveland Browns on the road. Patriots now 3-3, 2-2. Away from Gillette, the Browns now dropped to 2-4. They're 1-3 at home. Tough start to the year for them, and certainly a game that I think as we heard from I forget his name now, Anthony from Cleveland.com. Yeah, right. He was saying that Cleveland was treating this like a must-win game with that kind of urgency. I'm not sure I saw or felt that kind of urgency from them. It didn't seem like it.
I thought it was odd. I thought a lot of things that Cleveland did in this game were odd, especially early on. And I think that the Patriots did a really good job on Chubb early. I thought he had a couple of 5-6 yard runs, but they also stacked him, you know, for a couple of 2 and 3 yard runs too. But I think if you're a team like Cleveland, you're okay with that. Just like the Patriots, like Ramondre Stevenson had very few efficient runs in this game.
Yeah.
But that didn't really deter them from doing what they do. And yeah, okay, I get it. On 3rd and 10, they caught him, right? They're not at 3rd and 10 from the 31-yard line. They're not looking for a draw, and they caught him, and he breaks it for a touchdown. I'm not necessarily pointing to that run per se as much as I am the mentality of I know he's had a lot of 2-yard runs in this game, but we're going to keep doing it because he's our best player on offense, and we're not going to just go away from him. And I thought Cleveland, for large stretches of this game, willfully went away from Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
They had a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1 that he's not on the field on. And I know they like to put Hunt on the field in some of those plays. And Hunt's a good player. I'm not telling you he stinks. But I just thought that your point, Christian, about how much urgency they had in this game coming in, to have him be a bystander, I think he had 8 carries at the half, and he ended up with 12. In a 10-6 half game at the half, he ends up with 12 carries. I think he had like 13 touches. And yes, I have him on my fantasy team. So I'm wondering.
So I was paying attention.
What happened?
Oh man.
Yeah.
You know, I think Paul, I'd credit the tackling of the Patriots defense because I think a lot of times it looked like they had it snuffed out, and even with Chubb in those other games you watch him, it looks like other teams have him snuffed out, and then he breaks a tackle and he's gone.
That's just my point.
And they just were able to contain him when they were ready for it. Even when he got those, 5-yard gains, like you said, they were able to keep, limit the damage that he was able to do. It was a real good job. Yeah, here comes Hunt.
Yeah, that was a big 3rd down play early in the game that forced the field goal. And I like I said, I thought they did a lot to stop themselves today. Now, in the passing game, the secondary was really good in this game. We talked about it in the good segment. I thought the Patriots secondary had its strongest game today. They were really, really sticky in coverage.
Definitely. You surprised Marcus Jones getting?
One might say they were improving on defense.
Yeah, you say that.
We'll talk about that on Tuesday.
Marcus Jones, what were you about to say about Marcus Jones?
I just was a little surprised to see him out there a little more. I mean, it feels like he's getting. I mean, I don't know what the snaps were, but
I think there was no Jonathan Jones.
Yeah,
you needed another guy.
No Wade. Yeah,
you needed another guy, and like Marcus Jones hasn't played a ton of snaps so far defensively, but with no Jonathan Jones, you needed someone to give him at least something.
Yeah, just right there in his pocket.
This is a great catch, and I know he doesn't quite get in bounds when he lands on that, but that's great coverage again. And I'm not like it's not all about the takeaway for me as much as it is the play. Like it's not just getting turnovers when the other team throws the ball to you. It's about being in position to take the ball away. And I think the Patriots have done that more this year than they have in years past. Like they've taken the ball away as opposed to having it given to them.
Although two of the picks today, they gave it to him.
Yeah, I mean,
those were getting hit when you throw. But
I would say one of them. I would say Duggar's was thrown to him.
Yeah,
he had all day to throw it. He threw it late. He threw it short. He could have made a better throw. The other one that Mills got was based off the hit. I think that was it Wise?
I think it was.
I think
Yeah,
it was a
either
hit
Wise
that
or
Wise
Judon
slithered.
hit him, but I
Maybe
mean,
maybe Judon.
that ball still hung up there is what I'm saying.
But
Yeah.
that's why, because
Right.
the Patriots forced a bad throw. And, I think like the Jack Jones pick from against Detroit, that's not because the other team just stunk and screwed up. You went out and took the ball away. So I think the Patriots defense, Fred and I had a nice go around on it on Thursday, and I'm sure he'll be peacocking around on Tuesday.
He's already peacocking on the text message.
No, I know. I already smacked at him. But this 2 weeks in a row, the Patriots defense has responded to the 2 terrible weeks they had against Green Bay and Baltimore.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly have. And the only thing you worry about now is, are they just kind of feasting on these bad teams? Because that's something that they've done in the past. I think that's something they did last year.
Yep.
And it led to this kind of false sense of, wow, look how hot they are. Look, no one can stop this team. This has that potential, but, we are going to see some interesting games coming up here. The Bears, I think, are another bad team to feast on. After that, I don't know if the Jets are going to be 5-2 at that point. By the time they play them, they might be. And you got real good teams like Buffalo coming up in the rest of the schedule, which I think gets a lot tougher once you get out of this Jets part. But the Jets could be tough too. So I sort of wonder, like 3-3. It's not a amazing win streak or anything, but it's certainly one that people are going to be paying attention to. I think you're going to see the Patriots go up in a lot of those power rankings this week.
Sure, I mean, and somehow probably the Jets too. So I mean, you
Definitely,
got some surprising performances here from the Jets, and I mean they're coming up on the schedule too. So it's hard to make sense of it all right now in my head because there's just so many teams that are up and down right now, and there's not a lot of rhyme or reason in the NFL. It doesn't feel like every Sunday that the power structure seems to shift a little bit, but Patriots have bought themselves another week. They're in the mix. They're 3-3, and they've got a chance to build on that next week going into Chicago.
All right, let's take a break here. But before we do, we want to thank Cybereason, the presenters of the Patriots Postgame Show. Great defenders don't just play in the field. They're also protecting your company and your data. Cybereason, on a mission to end ransomware and keep your business undefeated against cyber attacks. Learn more at cybereason.com/ransom. The phone number, 855-PATS-500. We'll get to your phone calls right after this.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cybereason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cybereason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Wow, you said that to me. At least I was kind to him. I'm like, I can't. I have no poker face. I
have no poker face.
No.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Christian Arcan.
All right, it's postgame presented by Cybereason. Patriots with a big win over the Cleveland Browns. Another comfortable win for your New England Patriots. We'll get to your phone calls at 855-PATS-500 in just a moment. But at 3-3 now, the Patriots are still looking up at a lot of teams, but that's respectable for a team on their third-string quarterback, a very respectable record to have right now, especially with Chicago coming. I mean, this could be a team that's over 500 and still potentially, in the cellar of their division.
Is it the third-string quarterback? Or
Is
it the starter?
it the first string now because he's so good? No,
That's right.
He played really well.
We joke now, but now we're kind of making fun of ourselves.
Listen,
I think.
I'm making fun of myself.
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
I'm not like trying to be like this like condescending jerk. Like, oh, now we can talk about it because I deem it worthy of discussion now.
Well,
no, I'll gladly say I was a week late to the party. The way he played today,
there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, well,
there's a conversation to be had,
and the team's in a good position. I mean, I think for us, Paul, because I feel like we've been pretty similar. Maybe not so much me as you, but I think we both have been pretty even-keeled about Mac Jones and what he's good at and what he hasn't yet shown us. And we've been patient with him, and it's not like I have a horse in the race where I'm dying to prove that Mac Jones is the guy or I'm dying to prove that Bailey Zappe's the guy. I just want a guy.
And that's the best way to be. Like, you're not tied to anybody, so you don't have, like, the innate bias. Like, when it first happened, the first go-around, I loved Drew. I was coming off of being the season ticket holder guy, and the whole reason why I was a season ticket holder in the first place is when they drafted Drew. That's when I got season tickets.
Yeah.
So I did feel like, well, that's my guy. He's not good. But I wasn't stubborn about it. When I saw the new guy was playing better than the old guy, I switched. And this time I think it'll be easier to do that because I don't think the old guy was playing all that well. I think the old guy's okay. The new guy is okay. We'll see.
That's what's hard about it. They're both.
We'll see what happens. But if he plays more like he did today on a regular basis, that's more than okay.
Yeah.
He was good in that game today.
I am a slave for the hot hand, so right now Bailey Zappe's got it. I say you keep going to it. Let's go to the phones here, see what the hot hand is on the phones. We'll begin with Pat, who is in Agawam. He leads us off. Hello, Pat.
Hey, did anybody check on Hardy after Paul Smith's that 45 yards?
I know. We couldn't put him on the good list this week.
Very upsetting. Go ahead, Pat.
I just want to go on a little diatribe and then just ask you guys a broad season question. So one thing's apparent to me, Belichick has not lost any zip on his fastball as far as game planning and coaching goes. Penalties aside, I think you could say that this, the whole offensive play calling is starting to hit a little bit of a stride, and it's nice to see. I know that was one of the big skepticisms coming into the season, but and you guys were touching on this earlier too. I mean, the AFC, aside from the two teams that are playing right now, it's wide open. I mean, this team can be a playoff team,
but if there are two teams at the top, it's not wide open then.
Right.
But you know what I mean, Paul. I mean, like there's playoff spots to be had.
Well, yeah.
On it,
They had one of them last year. Yeah. I mean, the Patriots can make the playoffs.
I think this team has a little bit more talent. This rookie class looks great.
They needed to overturn the roster. It was a badly needed injection of youth and athleticism. I think they've taken a step toward that. Absolutely, Pat. Absolutely.
All right, let's try Brandon, who is in Atlanta. Hi, Brandon. Brandon.
Hello.
Yo. Hey.
Hey. I had a statement to make, mostly a statement to make, but a question also at the end. So, the defense looks really good, like close to great. I did have to take into consideration what y'all were saying right before you went to break about how could it just be that we're feasting on bad teams. Obviously, the test will come. We got Jamar Chase, we got Justin Jefferson on the schedule, and then of course the real test is, can we at least make Buffalo punt?
Yes, right. Can they get that done one time? It's a shame that they don't play him until so late into the season, Brandon, because I want an answer to that question too.
Exactly, because the next time we make the Bills punt will be the first time we make the Bills punt since that win game. So that's the real test. But I'm all for Matt getting his job back when he's healthy. Bailey Zappe does look good, but I mean, you the 15th, or no, 15th pick or whatever he was in the draft. I'm like, yeah, I don't see them just, cutting him or cutting, ship with him. But I would ask, and my question is, like, how short do y'all think the leash is going to be when he comes back and if he's given his job back?
I think it's a great question. I don't really have any idea what to expect, how Bill Belichick will play this. I really don't. I'm watching Red Zone, and the poor Bills just got screwed. They had a third down stop overturned by a questionable holding call, and then they gave up a touchdown on the next play.
Yeah.
I don't really have any idea how Bill Belichick is going to attack this. I don't know how he's thinking about it. Is the Mike Lombardi comments from 2 or 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago at this point, is that sort of a peek into the window of how Bill Belichick is thinking about this? And he thinks the quarterback was being reckless and costing him plays and potentially games? And if so, is he looking at what the quarterback play he's getting now, where there really haven't been a lot of plays where the ball's been put in harm's way? Yes, he has 3 turnovers in 3 games, but 2 of those are fumbles off of hits that
getting sacked.
And I'm not saying that those are forgivable, because they're not, but they're more forgivable than throwing the ball up for grabs, which he has not really done.
Yeah.
The interception that he threw last week had nothing to do with him, and he hasn't put the ball up in harm's way. And maybe Bill looks at that and says, I can win with that.
Yeah, and I think my question is just how much of this year was we have to push the ball down the field. We have to take some chances to get an explosive offense and, to be able to make those chunk plays. So, do they take any responsibility for some of Mac's interceptions, for his over-aggressiveness, because that's what they were telling him to do? So I think it's part of the conversation. And I also think there's so much going on in practice and behind the scenes that only the coaches know for sure that, all right, this is what we can do with Mac and this is what we can do with Zappe. Maybe it's the same thing. I mean, maybe it's not all that far off. It wouldn't surprise me. But also maybe there's a lot of stuff we've been working on with Mac and building up to this over the year that has taken a way back burner to what we'd like to be doing right now with Zappe. We don't know those things, but you're right. It's a really, really interesting
I just don't know how Bill's, it's hard for me to make a prediction because I don't know if Bill is seriously thinking, this guy's playing at a better level than the other guy was. I don't know if he's thinking that or if he's just saying, we've caught a couple teams at the right time. You can't ignore the fact that you played, Miami, Baltimore, and Green Bay on the road, as opposed to the Jets and the Lions. I mean, the Browns and the Lions.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just ignore that as a non-factor. However, it is what it is.
Yeah.
He played well, and he played better than the guy that was playing.
That's true. If you want to email the show, you can do that at webradio@patriots.com. There was Efren who wanted to say the coaching vindication tour needs to be put on hold since Patriots had all these penalties today. Patriots had a sloppy game, and when is Bailey Zappe going to be given serious consideration for the starting job? Expert after expert contend that starting Zappe is a step backward. I refer to Bailey Zappe stats compared to Mac Jones. Nothing wrong with going with the hot hand. Again, you know me and how I feel about the hot hand. The coaching vindication tour, how's that feeling today? I feel even with the penalties, they got to be pretty high on themselves.
So I'm a lot higher on the structure of the offense today than I was last week. I think that 3rd and 1 sequence that I talked about at the top I thought was really impressive.
Yep.
Matty P dialing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matty P. I mean, Matty P is looking all right now. Looking like he's going to have some blowing to do later on this year. Let's try Eric, who is in New Jersey at 855-PATS-500. Hi, Eric.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna spit a bunch of few things down if you guys take what you want. But Deuce, I called in early on the pregame show just to talk about Zappe. Like I said, I think it was no guy has a job. Let the best guy have it. I have no horse. I have no dog in the race. Let the best guy have it. But first and foremost, you have to give it up to the offense, to the offensive staff. I think they're putting the guys in the right position. The only thing that I have to question is, though, again in the red zone, throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage, running the ball, not throwing the ball ahead. That's my only concern, and I'll take that off the line. I thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, I mean I agree, but I think it was it was a little bit better. And I think in spaces with the Thornton reverse, but I think some was good, some was bad.
The Thornton reverse was garbage time, but the first couple of ones in the red zone, I didn't really have a lot of problems with. I think
Run stuff.
And I think Bailey Zappe missed the wide open Hunter Henry on the third down on that,
Mm-hmm.
where he ends up, the touchdown gets overturned by the illegal touching. I thought that play, the design there, like, first of all, they're inside the 1. Do you have a problem running the ball twice from the 1?
No.
Like, did you think there was any sniff that the worst rush defense in football was going to stop Ramondre Stevenson?
Did not think
twice.
so.
Stepped up, yeah.
I thought they would run it again. To be honest with you, they went hard play action and got Hunter Henry wide open. Zappe was late and missed them.
Yeah.
I didn't. They ended up having to kick a field goal. Okay. The next time they got down there, they scored. I think they had the throw to Thornton, the short touchdown throw to Thornton, which I didn't really get a chance to see a replay, but I saw some people on Twitter really complimenting Thornton's route on that play. He got off the line of scrimmage well and beat the coverage quickly. He was wide open, so he must have done something right. I don't know. Like, just because you run the ball doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, coming into this game, did anybody think that Ramondre Stevenson wasn't going to have another big game? Well, he didn't.
Like he had to.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Give Cleveland some credit.
Yeah.
They had a problem. Now, in my opinion, my layman's opinion, not watching anything, 17 times, I think they did a lot of work today to try to stop Ramondre Stevenson, and that left them susceptible because every pass play that was completed today was completed to a wide open guy.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of credit for that to Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, and Bill Belichick for their schemes, because I think they're scheming guys open, and Bailey Zappe for getting the ball where it needed to go. So you didn't – this is the other thing about Zappe now, Mike, that I'm starting to get into this. Because
where's this guy been?
Because
for the pregame show,
it needs
it's
to be
totally
organic.
different man.
You can't push him there.
No,
it needs to be organic.
Because again, I keep saying, if things change, if you change elements of your experiment,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a different outcome,
Mm-hmm.
you can't just sit there and say, "Well, no, because what? Well, because what? Because that's what I said." And I'm going to go take cornered, and I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to go down with the ship. No, like. I think today.
No way to live.
I keep saying, well, yeah, if you just have Bailey Zappe hand the ball off and he's running wild, and your defense is today he was handing the ball off to Stevenson and he wasn't running wild. He was held under wraps for the most part, even with the 31-yard touchdown run,
which was pretty fluky. And if you take that away, he had a lousy day.
But even if you keep that in there, that the numbers aren't all that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like 19 for 76. There's nothing to write home about there. So I thought the offense. There was more of the offense today that was on the shoulders of Bailey Zappe than last week, right?
Definitely.
So I can't just ignore that. Like, I'm not telling you that I would bench Mac Jones. But I'm telling you, I would think about it now, and I wouldn't even have entertained it coming into the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I feel like we've been in similar positions. I guess the thing that's
we
just
are in similar
weird
positions.
for me.
It's just weird because we almost never are.
It's just weird for me because I feel like they're kind of the same guy. Like I don't really see a whole lot of difference between what like great game from Bailey Zappe, Mac Jones last year, great. They're kind of similar.
It's hard to declare that Mac's better.
I mean,
Yes,
even at his best,
I agree.
like, there's nothing with either one that I would give them the nod on X.
It's not like you're
just
dealing with the guy.
Good decisions, taking what's there.
Think about if Josh Allen was in like his second year. Remember Josh Allen when he started?
Great example.
Right?
Go. Great
okay?
example.
It's not like you're dealing with one guy that has this exceptional set of skills that he can't, you don't never know if he's
just
hit,
a wild horse.
He might hit the bull with the 15-yard out, right? And so you're dealing with him, and you're saying, well, he's a little erratic, and he's wild, and he's going to make some mistakes, but my God, look at those physical gifts.
Yep.
These two guys don't have those physical gifts.
Right.
Mac's a little bigger, and I think he has a little bit of a better arm, but not discernibly. Right?
No.
I don't think his skills, I mean, Evan will disagree with us. We'll have fun with Evan this week. Evan thinks that there's no comparison between the skill sets. I don't think that one's is all that much greater than the other. I think Mac has a greater skill set, but not like.
But as much as I might give Mac an edge in some little things, like I also might say that Zappe is a little bit more quick in the pocket, and like he's starting to show a little bit more.
He had good presence.
He moves around the pocket better than Mac Jones does.
I think and that's and I do think Mac last year had good awareness in the pocket, but just overall with Zappe's athleticism, I think that stood out to me a little bit. I think that's why it's a hard thing for us because you can't really pound the table for either guy at this point in terms of what they like at their best. I don't really know. I don't really know who's better.
The one difference I'd say, that maybe one small separation, is Mac Jones was a first-round pick, and the reason why he wasn't because he was really fast or because he had a monster arm. It's because he's a smart, good decision-maker, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Bailey Zappe's that much worse at decision-making?
Right.
That's
right.
I mean,
how do you rank
that?
decision-making? Like, he's a first-round decision-maker. He's a fourth-round decision-maker.
Well, I'll tell you the difference with those two guys is that one of them played at Alabama and the other one played at Houston Baptist in Western Kentucky.
Yeah, right.
And listen, that's no small thing. That's part of it. You know,
of course.
Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo has a better skill set than some of the first-round picks? Well, he wasn't a first-round pick. You know why? Because he went to Eastern Illinois. Like, that happens. Sometimes that happens. Now, sometimes guys overcome it. Carson Wentz was the first overall pick coming from 1AA. But you, in terms of the way they go about playing, I think there's a lot of similarities between Mac and Bailey Zappe.
Let's try Colleen, who is in Houston, Texas, at 855-PATS-500. Hi, Colleen.
Hi. So first of all, I hear the caller who said that there were a ton of penalties, but I do think Matt Patricia deserves his flowers. Our offense looked good today, in my opinion.
I agree.
Secondly, Bailey did look better in the pocket, in my opinion, than Mac Jones. But also, I want to refer back to preseason game 3, which I know doesn't matter.
Oh, it does.
But Mac looked terrible, and our offense looked terrible. And when my friends asked how I felt about it after, I was like, at least we have a good backup in Bailey Zappe. So I saw his potential pretty early, and I'm kind of on board with him. So anyway, Zappe fever, but not that much. I know. Let's just have fun with it.
All right, very good. Thank you, Colleen.
I like that.
I'm trying.
That could be my T-shirt right now. Like Zappe fever, but not too much.
Yeah, like a mild Zappe 24-hour thing.
Yeah, you know, it clears up
funny
in a day or two.
I thought she was going in a different direction. I thought she was because I thought that Zappe was terrible in that game. Now, not as bad as Mac in the first offense. But that was the game that Zappe was running backwards.
I didn't think Zappe looked good in any of the preseason
spinning
games.
around, and he threw a terrible pick that Bill chewed his ass out for afterward. And that was one of those games that I was like, oh, boy. I think because we were kind of like intrigued by Zappe a little bit during the practices. Then when the games kind of came, we were like, I don't know. We'll see what he ends up being.
I saw the call from Texas. I thought maybe it was a Zappe family member ringing in.
Yeah,
maybe it was.
By the way, I don't know if you guys already knew this, but I learned that Bailey Zappe was named after Bailey from Party of Five today.
Brady, Bailey Salinger.
Yeah, Scott Wolf, your best friend.
Yeah, my old buddy.
Yeah,
I
I did not realize that he was named after that character. I think that's great.
Were you a big fan of Party of Five?
I was a little young for Party of Five. Like I liked it, but I don't know.
I liked it. My girlfriend at the time was into that show, and I
You'd watch Dawson's.
It was one of. Well, I actually liked Dawson's Creek, but I was one of those that I watched it, under protest, and then I spent 4 weeks not admitting that I liked it. But I was like, this isn't a bad show.
It got to
you know me. I like a lot of those
when
shows.
the older brother
what
got.
What are you laughing at, Marine Corps?
Yeah, shut up, you and your
Same
nerd
thing.
stuff. Always saying.
That happened to me with True Blood.
True Blood.
Yeah, really bad show. But I started watching it. I couldn't get. I watched every single episode.
These teams just continue to just treat field goals like they're like the plague. I just don't understand it.
What was it, fourth down they go for it?
From the 4. I just don't understand why getting within a point in a game in the second quarter is a bad thing. And Cleveland did the same thing today. I don't understand why taking the lead in the second quarter is a bad thing. I just
should have had that.
I just don't get it.
What happened? He threw it behind a little bit.
Bad throw.
I think it got tipped at the line. But
yeah, Josh Allen would never miss a throw like that. Never.
Oh no. If that's the throws that he occasionally gets wild with. That's why I was talking. I wasn't talking about comparing. The quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm going back before Allen had established himself. And
I
he
got
was
your
wild.
point 100%. Where you would at least see a total difference between here's a guy kind of average but good decisions and isn't going to kill you and can pop up out of play action and deliver the throw. Whereas this other guy, man, if we could just get him under control, he could be special.
And when he gets in trouble, even now, Josh Allen, it's his accuracy. Whoa, you okay over there?
I don't know.
His accuracy kind of leaves him, at times. And I don't know. Maybe this was just a bad throw behind him. I thought the ball got deflected the first time. But I just, this analytics stuff, and I am not anti-analytics. I am all for teams going for it on fourth down, passing up punts. I'm all for going for 2 in unconventional spots, but you have to be smart about it. When you're down, when you're down 15 and you score to get within 9, why do you leave it a 2-score game in the middle of the fourth quarter?
I thought that was so ridiculous. If you had Patrick Mahomes or a great quarterback and you're going to throw a pass from the 2-yard line, Jacoby Brissett was struggling just to complete anything in this game.
But
and he gets the touchdown, and then you're going to make him do it again? Like, what are you doing?
But nothing changes.
Yeah.
If you
You're still 2 scores down.
If you get this, you're within 7.
You still have to score the other touchdown.
You still have to score a touchdown and convert the extra point. You gain nothing. 7-8. You still have to get the extra point. Yes, I understand getting 2 is harder, which is why I wouldn't have done it with 6.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Just kick it, make it an 8-point game, and make the other team have to do something on offense. Instead, you give them the ball back down 9. They don't have to do a thing.
Forgive my ignorance, Paul and Mike, but how is that even the analytical right move?
I think they look at it as they can get. You have to get 8 and 7. So it doesn't matter, and then you can win it with a touchdown and a field goal. I remember there was a game that I was apoplectic about.
But if you miss it, as you said, if you miss it, it's over. I mean, the game's over.
No, I totally agree. There was a game 4 or 5 years ago that the Cowboys came back from a huge deficit against the Falcons at home. I want to say it was maybe 3 years ago, and it was one of those typical Falcons fourth quarter collapses where they just find a way to lose, and it was one of those. Dallas scored to get within 9. They go for 2, and they don't get it. And sure enough, they ended up getting a touchdown, getting the onside kick, and kicking a field goal in the last play of the game to win. And all the analytics, I got blod. Like all the nerds come out and they tell you how much you don't understand. And I was like, just because that in that particular case it worked doesn't make it right. And the analytics people should know better than any of us that the result shouldn't dictate the mindset. The process shouldn't change solely based on the end result. Oh, they just showed a replay of that play, and I missed it again in the Buffalo game. I told you, Deuce, you're going to get the whole Bills-Chiefs game on Red Zone. You don't have to worry about it.
I know.
This is a weird game, though, because both offenses have been dominant, but yet it's like 7-3.
Yeah.
With under 6 to go in the half.
Joe Tooney.
This is going to be one of those games where it's each team scores 17 in the fourth quarter.
Who's the Bills left tackle? Brown, I think he just left.
Spencer Brown, right?
Yeah, Spencer.
Oh, wow.
Right tackle. He just went up the tunnel too. I don't. You have a hard time convincing me in the fourth quarter why it wouldn't be a better idea to make it a 1-score game.
All right, let's take a break here. Before we do, Pats fans, I'm here to tell you about NFL All Day. With NFL All Day, all your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called Moments. Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can also use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Check it out and find some moments from all your favorite Patriots players on NFLAllDay.com. Quick break. We'll get back to more of your phone calls right after this on the postgame show presented by Cyber Reason.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cyber Reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com. This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar.
The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cyber Reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
You're smart, TJ. You'll get 3 essays out of this. Yeah.
Yeah, right. This is all content.
Absolutely.
The time I met Hardy.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Christian Arcan.
All right, we're back here. It is the post-game show presented by Cyber Reason. Patriots with a quality victory over the Cleveland Browns, a Cleveland Browns team that you may remember they beat up on last year. I think coming into this game, I was expecting things to be a little bit different. I was expecting Chubb to be a much bigger problem than he was. Jacoby Brissett, Baker Mayfield, maybe 6 of one, half dozen of the other there at the quarterback position. But this was much like last year, an easy Patriots victory. They certainly dominated in the second half and were able to put this one well out of reach. We got your phone calls here at 855-PATS-500. You can also email into the show. The email address is, let's read an email real quick. I feel like I've been ignoring the emails. webradio@patriots.com. This is John from the Poconos who says, fire Mac, Zappe for 7 rings. Hope that we got that out of the way. Awesome game, well-deserved. Hope we can keep it going, especially when everyone is healthy. Stoked for Thornton. Also, great start to hopefully a long career here. The Zappe Mac thing is not going to die down. I mean,
No,
I know that
not
they
now.
don't want there to be a big quarterback controversy, and I'm not sure how the team's even feeling about this right now. But this thing is going to, this thing is going to be raging all week long.
Oh, yeah. And there's part of me, too, that wonders if this is like a good thing for Mac, because he's always kind of been in this position where he's never really just been the starter.
Yeah.
And, since high school. So, maybe it pushes Mac a little bit and lights a fire under him. But I'm also curious if people really fell that out of love with Mac that quickly, or if they're just kind of fond of the newness of Zappe now. Because I don't really feel like there were a lot of people that were anti-Mac, even, through his slow start of the season.
I said this on Wednesday with Mike and Tony. I was like, have you guys gotten a lot of calls before Mac got hurt suggesting that Mac needed to lose his job? And I was surprised. They said, yeah. They had a fair amount of people that weren't convinced that he was the future, and we get very few of those. Now we're getting a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Since Mac got hurt, we're getting a lot of them on our Patriots Unfiltered shows during the week. But I was a little surprised that they had mentioned how many they were getting before Mac got hurt. And I guess that might be the difference between regular radio and Patriots.com.
Right. That's
I'm serious.
A little bit combustible over there.
I can make fun of us, Arcan. You can't make fun of us.
Okay. I can't make fun of anybody anymore.
No. Do you see? Oh, yeah. Well,
I got to watch my mouth.
That's unfortunate. Did you? Jason McCourty tweeted out a thing about his brother. Did you see this?
No.
The type of brother I have. He FaceTimes me right after the win in the Cleveland from the locker room, so I could actually see what it was like to win a game in Cleveland. One hell of a guy he is.
That's
pretty good.
That's good, making fun of himself there.
That's not bad.
I like
Not bad there.
Roasted.
And, also ripping the Cleveland Browns and that whole organization. And probably the city
He was
a little
on
bit
the
too.
Ofer team, right?
That's right, he was. Let's go back to your phone calls at 855-PATS-500. We'll hear from Bill Belichick in just a moment. First, let's hear from you. Sean is in Vancouver. Hello, Sean.
Hey, Christian, a couple of things. Before this game, the one thing I was certain of was that this would be a game under 3 hours. No, of course not. You had Stevenson and Chubb running well. You have two teams that don't play well against one, but you got to give the Browns and the Patriots credit for stepping up and really playing much better against the run. So that was surprising but good in some ways, especially from the Patriots side.
Yeah, the run defense on both sides was good.
Go ahead, Sean.
The other thing I wanted to mention is this, I think, was the worst week the Patriots had in terms of pre-snap penalties. But the difference was they were able to get over them. They actually got some first downs after being backed up, which is signs spoke.
Yeah, agree again.
Yep.
Did they break their season high? Because I know they had 8 at the half. Did they get that 9th? Oh, they got 12. They had 12.
Yeah,
penalties.
they had a season high
they blew
of penalties.
past it. Yeah,
and it's to me there's a big difference too with the the pre-snap ones, and that you can't have pre-snap ones, and they had a lot. I think they had 6 of them today. Too many.
Yeah, that is too many. Absolutely. Let's try Moises, who is in Connecticut. Moises, hello.
Hey, Deuce. What's going on?
Hey.
Hey, guess what? I like your comment saying 3-3. What about 4-3 when we beat the Bears next Monday night?
I like it better. Let's go.
How about this? A great team win, but guess what? We got to stop making stupid mistakes and penalties.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm with you, Moises.
Yeah.
I do think they need to stop doing that. 12 penalties for 92 yards in this game against the Cleveland Browns team, who wasn't particularly disciplined either, I didn't think, is a trend and one that you can get away with. I think in Cleveland you can get away with, against the Lions and some of the other teams that they've, the Pittsburgh Steelers and those teams. You play the good teams. I mean, you can't have half that many penalties. You can't give away half that many yards.
How do you have 4 false starts? I don't know. It's just like, I'm trying to find like a common thread with these penalties, or like, why the team seems to like keep making these kind of stupid pre-snap penalties. And I mean, granted, it's probably a handful of suspects that are kind of doing it over and over, but they got to get rid of that stuff. That's just seems like to drive you crazy.
It was widespread today.
Yeah. Trent Brown had 2. Isaiah Wynn.
I thought the tackle struggled
Myers.
today. I thought Trent Brown had some problems today too. Not as glaring, but the false starts, and he's been teetering with those. I bring those up because I think he's gotten away with at least one in each of the last couple of games.
Absolutely.
Today he didn't get away with it. So they have to clean some of that stuff up. You can't consistently operate 1st and 15, 1st and 20. They got to clean some of that up.
The ones where the guy steps too quick and like no one else moves, and then no one else moves for like 3 more seconds because they're like, did he really just do that? Like,
that was an egregious one.
It must have been like way off with that one. No one moved a muscle after that.
Some of the ones they didn't even call, though, that Paul's talking about, where it's like all of a sudden you see giant 6'8" Trent Brown like shooting out of his stance and like this giant leg kicking back, and like the snap goes off, and you're like, how is that not a false start?
So I hope no one saw that.
It's a giant man.
Giant man doing
it's like
that.
when you're playing hide and seek and you're like hiding.
Yeah, right. He's behind the tree.
Like, behind the tree.
Trent, I think I see you there, bud.
You can't see me.
Eric is out in San Francisco. Eric, hello.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Eric.
I don't think it's yet a QB controversy, but I will say this: I think that Zappe, the calm and poise that he shows during these games when he was plucked in Green Bay, and then even at Detroit at that time with a powerful offense, seemingly, and then Cleveland, their D-line is no joke. I just think that he has shown a lot of poise. Gone through his reads, makes the throws, and manages, the situation very well. And Paul, you and I have been watching football for about the same amount of time. And I remember when Charlie Weiss was interviewed about what else, the Bledsoe-Brady debate, why keep Brady in when Bledsoe was ready to come back, why play Brady in the Super Bowl. And Charlie was very candid and said, because Brady will follow the game plan. And he'll execute the game plan, which in Patriots parlance is, move the chain, take what the defense gives you. And he said, Brady would do that and not try to play hero ball, and pat the ball and get happy feet. And I think what I'm seeing from Zappe is a guy that's just, the coaching staff is telling me, here's what you need to do. And he's doing it. And so while it's not a QB controversy yet, I could see where it could become one. And then one last thing, Paul. I don't know if you ever been out in San Francisco to see a game. They don't play out here very often, unfortunately. But it's ironic to me that one of the best Boston bars in San Francisco is called the Buccaneer.
Oh, ouch.
What are the odds of that?
Interesting.
Change it.
I was not aware of that. Didn't know they had ball. I knew they had some in like L.A. I didn't know there was any in San Francisco.
I was just gonna say, like, I agree with everything Eric said there, but I just again, I think it's funny that everything you described about Zappe, you could have said the exact same thing about Mac last year. Like, that's exactly how people would have described Mac last year, but somehow we got off that track now.
Right, and the bottom line is Brady kept the job over Bledsoe because he was playing better than Bledsoe. Like, all these other things aside, if he wasn't playing as well, he wouldn't have won the job. He played better, and I think you could start to have a conversation. Is what Zappe is doing helping you or not? Is it helping you play better? Are you moving the ball more effectively? I think you moved the ball more effectively and scored more points today than you have in the other games. And I'm not talking about the 38 because I know you had 4 turnovers that greatly enhances that total. I'm talking about before the game, is out of hand. I thought you moved the ball well and put points on the board.
I just think, again, the question for me just comes back to, does anyone get us to that next level? To either one of these guys, does it really matter?
Different argument.
Does
but
that's like,
you.
like, it's fine. And, I don't want to make a decision just to make a decision because you drafted Mac in the first round or whatever. But, like, at the same time, the way we're describing these guys are both game managers who are going to, not make the mistake and do what the coaches tell them. And that's all fine. But, like, if you really want to get back into the playoffs and compete with teams like we're watching play right now, Buffalo, Kansas City, you're going to need better play than I think we've seen out of Bailey Zappe or Mac Jones to this point in their careers.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. 855-PATS-500, that's your phone number. Let's try Chad, who was in L.A. Hey, Chad.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
What's up?
Yo.
I am curious about why you think that they are so similar, and I'm wondering if it's because of the turnovers.
It's because they look alike. That's why it is for me, Chad. It's because the two of them look very similar
What
physically.
are we talking about?
You're talking about Mac and Zappe, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think they look alike. I think they look like cousins or something.
Their skill sets are similar.
Yeah.
Neither one of them has
right.
a real NFL arm. Neither one of them has much mobility. Neither one of them is very big. And they both thought that their best attribute is their minds, their ability to process. I think there's a lot of similarities to the way they play.
Yeah, complete a lot of passes.
But I think Zappe today played better than any game that Mac Jones has played this year.
So if you were making the decision, what would you pick for next week?
Is Mac healthy?
Let's say yes.
Then I would go with Mac Jones.
Douche.
All right, thanks, guys.
That doesn't. Whoa.
Well, wait a minute.
Come back
Chad.
at me.
Hold on, Chad.
I'm here.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that like
Paul's not done with you yet.
It's a non-starter. It's not worth a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
I
mean,
think that Mac Jones is the guy that you prepared to start, and he's the guy you went into your offense with. I think he has more at his disposal. But if they don't think that he's playing well enough to play, that's different.
Doesn't it feel like there's a little bit of a rhythm there going on with him?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
it does.
swing is
100%.
going upwards, not downwards. So why would you break that? Like if you're gambling at blackjack, you always keep betting until you lose, right?
Right.
And then I keep betting after that.
Yeah.
I would just say that you also, too, need to be aware that Mac Jones is going to want to play, and he still might not be 100% healthy. And so, you have to be careful about what you ask of him, because if you put him in there, he's not 100% healthy, and he doesn't play that well, but that's because he's not quite 100%. Now we're getting into a whole other thing where Mac comes back, doesn't play well. Now you've got another set of examples to deal with versus Zappe. So it's a fascinating thing. We'll be talking about it all week. I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning right now, stay the course until Mac is healthy and ready to go.
Well,
and,
that's why I said, is he healthy?
Yeah.
Like
I'm
not rushing him. I'm not rushing him back the way this kid played today.
I know, but that's the
that.
conversation is the doctors say, okay, we can clear him medically. Well, how does he feel? Well, he's probably about 85, 90% probably.
Right.
Really? All right, Mac, how do you feel? Well, I'm about 85, 90%. All right. Are you ready to go out there and beat a team and not, get re-injured and turn the ball over and, all those things that could possibly happen when he gets out there that would all of a sudden say, Zappe didn't do that. I mean, that's what you're into right now. And I think they have to be mindful of the position that they put Mac in, because I know he's ready to go and he probably wants to play even if it's like 60%.
I know that too, but also think about this. Mac Jones, for all the bluster about wanting to play, when there was that whole thing with the surgery where the team wanted him to have surgery and he didn't, and they said, if you have the surgery, you can be back in a month. And he said, well, I'm just going to rehab. And they were saying 6 to 8 weeks was the estimated time there. I'm not saying he's on the 6 to 8 week plan right now, but, I wonder if maybe that's something that's going to come back up. Well,
Sure.
if you'd had the surgery,
4
you're not.
weeks, IR, 4
right.
weeks. This is 4 games.
And I think this is where you could start to talk about that, because I think if he's not ready to play, if he's not cleared to play.
Because then you wouldn't have had to be a tough guy. You get the surgery and you're back and you're ready to go. You don't have to try and tough it out.
And unfortunately, just continuing to watch Red Zone of that Kansas City Buffalo game, you get the game of the week, and probably the game of the year in the AFC. And what do we get?
9-3.
Awful lot of screen time for the officials. They call it a penalty on every freaking play. They just called Juju Smith-Schuster for unsportsmanlike conduct, for sort of mocking the Bill's sideline and giving a first down call. It's just do we have to have every play have a penalty? Like the Bills just forced a 3-and-out. third down play, they call a ticky-tack holding call away from the ball. The next play, the Chiefs complete a pass for a first down. They call it back for a ticky-tack, unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, no one wants to see the referee. Just get out of the way and let these two teams play. It's, like, very frustrating.
You just rattled off the last 6 plays in a game that's being interspersed with 2 other games.
I told you, Scott Hanson's job is not that difficult. I've told you that many
His name
times.
is Paul the Game Book Perillo over here.
Just because I'm not smooth, like announcer boy coming in and out of breaks, doesn't mean I can't keep track of different things.
Well, I can't really do either of those things. What I can do, though, is tell you that we got Bill Belichick, head coach, coming off of a win where he tied George Halas and got a nice win on the road against Cleveland. Here's Bill.
Well, good team win for us here on the road. Got a lot of contributions from everybody. Offense, defense, special teams. Played some complimentary football where we were able to, make plays on defense or in the kicking game and then convert those on offense. So, that was good. Players really competed hard. Obviously, we had a hard time with Garrett. He's tough. And then, the penalties in the first half offensively put us in some long yardage situations, and even in the third quarter, put us in some long yardage situations that we gotta try to avoid. But in the end, good complimentary football. Got some turnovers. We're able to again make some plays in the kicking game, and another 5 or 6 fourth down plays, 2-point conversion. So seems like that's becoming a theme here. Defensively, we've got to be ready to tackle those, but. Got some contributions from some of our younger players here today. Strong, Harris got a chance to play. Thornton, made a couple of big plays for us. Obviously, Strange, been doing that for us all year. Zappe, hung in there. So, good team win, and big week coming up here. But good coming in Cleveland and win. Take that.
George Halas for the second most victories of all time on the NFL coaching.
You can't win games in this league without good players. So I've been very fortunate to have coached a lot of great players and have a lot of great coaches on my staff through the years. So a lot of those guys have gone on to have tremendous careers. And the players, obviously, we have many of them are Patriots Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame, or are going to be. So. It's really winning games in this league is about having good players, and I've been very fortunate to have a lot of them. Had them at New York, had them at Cleveland, have them here. So,
Coach, normal procedure for a team to head to the buses after the game. I saw a couple guys that went out to the field as they're boarding the buses. They said it was your suggestion. Was there any meaning behind that, if true?
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. So. No, I told him after the game, how, look, we have, as we know, our players are very active in social justice and, equality and things like that. And, I told him how important 5 of those names are. They're all great players up there and great people up there. I'm not saying that, but there's 5 that to me really, just absolutely stand out in the Mount Rushmore of this conversation. Paul Brown for reintegrating the NFL when he came into the NFL from the All-American Conference with Bill Willis and Mary Motley. So those 3, and then, of course, Ozzie Newsome's one of the first black players at Alabama, one of the great ones. Great player, great general manager, great person. And then, of course, the great Jim Brown, who, kind of stands above everyone in terms of what he's done for equality, what he stands for, what he was as a football player, what he is as a man. Paul Brown took a lot of courage to do what he did, took a lot of courage to do what Willis and Motley did, took a lot of courage to do what Ozzie did, took a lot of courage for Jim Brown to do what he did. So I told him I thought that they should go out there and just think for a minute about what some of the sacrifices that those guys made, not just on the field, not just as players, but as people and for what they stood for. So thank you. Thanks for the question, Scott.
Well, Bill, even though every win is precious, Coach, it does sound like winning here was special.
It's good to win. Yeah, it's good to win every week, Tony, every week. So it's great to win every week. Today is a win, so happy. happy last week when we beat Detroit. It's hard to win in this league.
Bill, how impressed were you with the defensive line and and the linebackers standing up against a really good Browns running game?
Yeah, Browns have a great running game. I mean, as I've talked about all week, they're very well coached, extremely well coached, as good as anybody we see. Outstanding offensive line. And obviously, Bitonio is a go-to guy there, but all 5 of those guys are good. The tight ends are good, and Chubb is just, I mean, he's a heck of a back, and so are the other 2 guys, I mean, Hunt, but Chubb is, Chubb's as good as we see. So, again, give the players credit. There's no one guy that can stop that. That's everybody doing their job, defeating blocks, tackling, pursuing the ball, just being disciplined and being sound, because Chubb's got very good vision and finds openings. And he hit us on a couple, in the second half where he, squirted through for, a couple of decent runs. But I mean, overall, the kind of halfway keep him in check, that was a great job by our defensive coaches, and not only the front 7, but we had a couple plays where the secondary had to tackle him and keep those 7 or 8 yard runs from, going for 50, which, he has plenty of those. So, yeah, it's a good job by that group. Thank you.
Bill, they thought they'd surprise you by throwing to their 3rd tight end and their 2nd player of the game, and yet the defense wasn't surprised. Did you expect Perillo to play a role in this game?
Yeah, I mean, they've been, used 3 tight ends. Did it against us last year. So last year, if you remember on the opening drive, they kind of took it right down the field, went no huddle, got into some empty formations out of their big personnel. So that's something that they had hurt us with before. Not surprised that they came back with it. And, we were in zone, so they could throw it to whoever they wanted to.
1 week ago, you talked about how impressed you were with Bailey's intellect and seeing the game. Do you feel that's kind of helped him develop the way he's at right now?
Yeah, I mean, again, he learns every day, whether it's practice or meetings or game experiences. So, yeah, it's he's he has pretty good instincts, but again, there's a lot for him to learn, and he saw some things today that he learned from, and he was able to take advantage and make a couple plays. We had the opportunity, so it was, again, solid performance. Not turning the ball over. I mean, other than the strip sack, but in terms of throwing the ball, not turning the ball over, is a good thing. And we just had trouble, obviously, with Myles Garrett. I mean, we tried to double him as much as we could, and he still got us.
Bill, on the George Hallis, I'm just curious, knowing your appreciation for the history of the game, because when you hear that name, what comes to your mind, George Hallis?
Yeah, George Hallis, Paul Brown. I probably shouldn't be included with them. That's what I think. They were my idols. Coach Hallis was, again, a friend of my dad's, and my dad, had new people on the staff that coached for Coach Hallis, and he coached Bill Wade at Vanderbilt. So we had a lot of Chicago Hallis connections, and they were always very. When they came to Baltimore, we go to the locker room after the game and stuff like that. They were always very gracious and generous, and let me hang around and stuff like that. So, ton of respect for Coach Hallis, the McCaskey family, and what he did for professional football, and the way that he and since we're here, Paul Brown and others like them, paved the way for us as coaches, and paved the way for the National Football League to grow to what it was today. They laid down a lot of the building blocks.
What do you think the reason was for all the penalties in the first half, and how much did they bother you?
Yeah, well, we got to do a better job of coaching. Start with that.
You're talking about how disruptive Myles Garrett was. The 3rd and 10 call there. What did you think of the execution where Stevenson really broke a big one and seemed like he capitalized on some of their aggressiveness?
Right. Well, they were in a defense that they've used before, where they had everybody up on the line of scrimmage to make it look like it was going to be a pressure call, and then on the snap of the ball, they had 2 or 3 guys kind of bail out and looked like they lost their, a little bit of their gap integrity. I don't know, it was like 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, whatever it was. And then when Mondre split it, then, he was able to make a great run in the secondary and turn a, 6-7 yard run into whatever it was, 30-yard touchdown, or I don't know, however long it was. So we kind of got through the line there, and then once he broke the line of scrimmage, then it was, it was a great run by Stevenson.
Bill, how much was it? Final question. Where you get capitalized off the turnover. You dug your interception, both field goal, and then you had the Mills interception, touchdown right after that, and even the Hunt recovery by School on and on. How good was that to see?
Yeah, awesome. Like that complementary football is that's what we need to play. We need to do that to win. We need to play good defense, play good in the kicking game, good field position, then our offense capitalize on it. And offensively, keep the defense from being on a short field, stop turning the ball over. If we can't make it, punt it, put them on a long field, give our defense a chance to play defense. Some of the things we didn't do well early in the year, we're doing a better job of now. Hopefully we can continue to do that. Thanks, Dan. All right, thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right, there you go. That was the head coach, Bill Belichick, talking at length about various different topics. Certainly had a lot to say about the Cleveland Browns and their history and some of the players from the history of that organization and the impacts they've made off the football field, which was a bit of a detour there. But one thing that stuck out to me the most, I don't know if you guys share this or whatever, but when talking about the quarterbacks, mentioning the turnovers, that was a thing that he went out of his way to mention. It's a thing that I think he really cares about. There was a turnover in this game, Paul, and you've pointed it out. It's not like Bailey Zappe's been perfect, but he didn't throw a bad ball. He got strip sacked from behind. I mean, that's not really, you know what I mean? Like it's a turnover, sure.
I like the best defensive end in the game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's not the same as like throwing it to a linebacker that you didn't see.
Yeah.
Right.
For example, like the one in the third
almost
quarter
hitting a
of the
linebacker
Baltimore
in the
game.
numbers on the goal line.
Right.
Right, yeah. And there's been a few of those for Mac, and certainly not as many, if any, for Bailey Zappe. And I think that's something. One of the quotes that stood out to me, aside from that other stuff I just mentioned, that was one that I sort of took notice of. I think that's something that Bill likes, is impressed by, and is, I think, going to keep going to.
No question. I mean, it's just the mistakes, and that's, I think, part of the process anyway. You get in the season here, you find out who you are. You have some games that might be a little sloppy. You don't really tackle as much in training camp, and there's certainly some cobwebs to get worked out before you really hit your stride here. But yeah, I just wonder, once Matt gets back, is he going to be playing tight at all? Worried about making those kind of plays now? Those are the things that could certainly. Oh my gosh, Josh Allen just dropped a dime.
What an unbelievable! What an unbelievable drive, though. They get a backed up. They got backed up inside their 5 off the punt. They get a false start on the first play. They lost a yard on 2nd and 10. So they ended up with 3rd and 13 from their own 1. He throws an absolute dart over the middle to get the first down. 3 passes later, they're in field goal range, and then they cap off the day. And this is all in the last minute of the half. I was all ready to tell you that Buffalo's going to end up the first half with like 300 yards of offense and 3 points. And they're going to end up with
340
10
and
points.
340 and 10 now.
They have 281 yards of offense in the first half. And that was their first touchdown. Well, partly because, I don't know if you know, Deuce, but you're not allowed to kick field goals in the NFL anymore. No. So instead of leading 13-7, you're only up 10-7. Good for you.
All right,
Congrats.
We'll take a quick break here. We'll come back, get more of your phone calls at 855-PATS-500. This is Patriots Postgame. Back after this.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes cyber reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes cyber reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I think every game you should dress as a different flavor of Kool-Aid.
Oh,
You should be like
yeah.
grape, orange, you know.
Crash, bang, 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 boom.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Christian Arcan.
All right, this is Patriots Postgame Show presented by Cyber Reason. I'm Christian Arcan alongside Mike Dussault and Paul Perillo. Patriots with a big win over the Cleveland Browns. Zappe fever has turned into a pandemic at this point as he had a very, very nice game. And we have him now from the podium. Here's the quarterback, Bailey Zappe.
Bailey Zappe.
Well, you know what? I can hold on. I can tell you.
Oh, there.
Yeah, it feels good to win no matter what, honestly. It was a great team win today. Played good in all three phases. Offense played well. Of course, there's some things that we can continue to clean up moving on to the weeks, but it was a great win for us, that's for sure.
How good do you feel out there as the game went on? You had that strip sack. It seemed like you recovered nicely from that. How good did you feel as the game went on today?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just staying, with the task at hand or, staying with the game plan, not getting outside the game plan. And, we did a phenomenal job. O-line played well, receivers played well, tight ends played well, running backs ran. I mean, we just had a really good offensive day today. And, let's celebrate today and then on to the Bears.
What happened after that one sequence? After it looked like your arm was actually going forward on the strip sack. I think it's debatable. But then there was 3 throws in there. Then you really settled down after that, got into the game, got back in rhythm. What got you back into rhythm offensively? What adjustments you guys made?
Yeah, I think that's just props to my teammates, my coaches, calming me down, telling me, stay, just playing football. I mean, that's the biggest thing, just playing football on Sunday and just stay at the task at hand, do your job, and that's really about it.
You spread the ball around to a bunch of targets. How much did you feel like that was a key part of your success offensively?
I think it was a big key. Like we said, for the past few weeks, we have a really good receiving core. We have a really good tight end group. We have a bunch of guys that can get open, a bunch of guys that can run routes, catch the ball, and do things after they catch the ball. And we showed that today. And, it was a good day for those guys and good day for the O-line, running backs. So it was a great team win.
Nice also, you get the Mills interception, you come right back on the 3rd and 1 and the touchdown. How good is that to just capitalize, work together, complement each other in all 3 phases of the game?
That's winning football for us, playing complementary football. When defense is playing good and they get a stop, it's up to us as an offense to take advantage of it. And, today we played good in all 3 phases. And it was, it was amazing to see that, and it was a great team win.
Bailey, have you allowed yourself to step back and just sort of take stock of what's happened here? I mean, 3 games to start the season, you're not even on the game day roster. Next thing you know, you're playing unexpectedly 4 and now starting 2 straight games.
Yeah, to be quite honest with you, I'm just, taking advantage of, my opportunity and at practice and wherever it is, and, taking it week by week. And once we come back tomorrow, watch the film tomorrow of this game, and then it's really on to the Bears.
Bailey, what do you feel has enabled you to look and feel more comfortable here in the last 2 games?
Definitely my teammates and my coaches. They've definitely supported me, helped me a lot, answering my questions that I've had on the sidelines, keep me calm on the field as far as teammates. And, when you have guys like we have on the offensive side, it's very easy.
In these last 2 games, whether it be personally or collectively as a team, how has it exceeded your expectations?
I think, we've definitely made some strides. Of course, there's some things that we can fix up, fix on the offense. I'm sure defense has things that they want to fix up, special teams. Personally, there's some things that I need to clean up. That's the great thing about football. You always got next week and always got practice to clean those things up.
Final question, guys. Final question. Similar to the first question you had, after the Packers game, I think you said you had to ask some of your linemen or teammates to calm you down and remind you that it's just football. Do you think you still needed any of that the last couple of weeks, or do you feel like yourself getting much more?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we always talk around the field. That's always nice to hear from those guys. But like you said, I mean, we're just playing football out there. It's what we've been playing since we were 5 years old. So, it's fun to play with those guys.
Thank you.
All All right, Bailey Zappe brought to you by NFL All Day. With NFL All Day, all your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called Moments. Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can also use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Check it out and find some moments from all your favorite Pats players at NFLAllDay.com. And Bill Belichick was brought to you by the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors, outdoors, scenic views, city vibes, solo or family style, whatever moves you, whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. Any groundbreaking takeaways from Bailey Zappe and what he had to say?
No, Kansas City just tied it up at the half. Somehow they managed to there was like 15 seconds left, and they still managed to get a 62-yard field goal.
No
out
problem.
of it.
And for the Blah police, Buffalo squibbed the kick, which everybody said was the reason why they lost in the playoffs last year. They squibbed the kick, made them take time off the clock on the return, gave them the ball at the 28 instead of the 25, and they still allowed a field goal.
Analytics are ruining these teams. I mean, really, they're ruining these teams.
Oh, we're overthinking it.
It's unbelievable.
But no, I mean, Zappe saying all the right things, doing what he has to do, passing credit around, saying he's got stuff to work on, all that stuff. We'll see what happens next week.
Complimentary football.
Complimentary football. Got to clean up the
My
mistakes.
takeaway? Stacey James cutting the interview short, and I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
All right.
That's enough of that.
We got a plane to catch. We're going back to New
we're
England.
gonna protect this guy. He's our guy. We're gonna protect him.
Yeah, but
in and out. Let's go, boys.
We have been in Cleveland too long.
I do want to say though, I know we're gonna be talking all week about Mac and Zappe, but just generally about the team. Like Monday night, national TV, good defense, crappy team, good chance for them, regardless of who plays quarterback. I know that's a huge storyline, and that's gonna be a big piece of it. Patriots have a good, Patriots
I thought
have
you were
their good
meaning
defense.
Chicago. I was
No. Oh, no. But just a chance generally for the team to get a good win on national TV next week. Not nothing that's going to be, hey, they're Super Bowl contenders now, but I just think it's a good opportunity before we get lost in the weeds of a week long of Zappe versus Mac. I know that's all we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the rest of these phone calls here before we call it a night. Spee is in Fresno, California. Hello, Spee.
Hey, guys. Mike, I agree. I agree that ultimately we need more than a game manager to be a real competitor, but we're in the midst of the Zappe of it all and the intrigue of what's happening this season. And I think that, if Mac were healthy, with that caveat, next week against the Cupcake Bears would be like an ideal way to get your apples-to-apples comparison between Mac and Zappe. He comes in, you plug him in against a team that's not that good and see, does it look the same? Does it look better? Does it look different?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. That would be an apples to apples. You're playing a bad team like you have the last 2 weeks, and if it doesn't look as good, you have a caveat to say, well, he's been off for a month and he's rusty, but it shouldn't look bad. And if he's turning it over, that is Spee's right. That would be like somewhat of an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm mad I hung up on him. I wanted to know if Spee was short for something. Let's go to
in Fresno.
Especially like one more thing to add to that. Then you got the Jets. That's a division game. They're playing pretty well. I think you need to kind of have it figured out before. I wouldn't want to see Mac make his first start against the Jets, and it seems like he possibly could.
The 5-2 Jets. That'd be
2 Jets.
Come
on, who are we talking to?
4-2.
Well, by then they'll be.
Who knows?
Who do they got next week?
Good question. I don't even
Does
know
it matter
next week.
No,
because that is Jets. We're all talking big picture about the AFC and they are still in last place.
Jets got the Broncos coming up next.
Yeah,
they're still in last place
go.
in the division, and that's kind of disappointing. Like the reality of that, because
the
Jets going to Green Bay keeps you in last place because it's just you and Miami at 3-3, and Miami beat you. So
right.
Jets
could beat. They could beat Russell Wilson. Anybody can beat Russell Wilson these days.
The way that defense is played, it's certainly possible.
Yeah, for sure. Let's try Andrew, who is in Washington, D.C. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hey.
Yo.
Sorry, big fan of the show, long-time listener. Emailed in a few times. This is the first time I'm calling in.
Cool.
Excellent.
Paul, I have an issue with you specifically on one point, which is infuriating because I have a huge amount of respect for you and your opinions all over the place.
That's
but
okay.
on this one 15-point deficit in the fourth quarter thing, it drives me up the wall.
What do you mean?
What?
So, in the most PSW way possible, I don't actually disagree with Paul. I disagree with his dismissiveness of people who disagree with him.
No, it's completely the opposite. I promise you. It's like if someone can explain this to me, and make it make sense, I'm all for it. I'm actually all for someone explaining to me why it's better to be down 2 scores than 1.
That's not really like a hot take. I don't even think
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And if someone can explain to me why it's better to be down 9 than 8, I'm all ears. I am not telling you that you need to see it my way. I promise you.
And for the record, that wasn't a second guess by Paul or any of us. At the time when it was happening, when they said, they're going to go for 2, we both looked at each other and said, what are they doing?
Here's the bottom line. The difference between 7 and 8 is negligible.
Right.
The difference between 8 and 9 is enormous. And for that reason, I would kick the extra point to make it 8.
Yeah. I was pulling do I have the score right on this?
Yes. Like Bill. Do you remember when Seattle went for 2 to try to make it a 9-point game and Bill thought that he had the score wrong?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Even if you had Patrick
if someone
Mahomes
wants
as
to
your
explain
quarterback.
to me why it's better to be down 9, I'm all ears.
Right.
Like I am all ears.
I'll
Believe
get the
me,
old
it's not my way. It's like explain to me why being down 2 scores in the fourth quarter is advantageous.
Well, and it's not the same thing as the discussion we've had in the past where it's like you got to go for 2 at one point, so go for it early. But this is totally different because they were still down by 9. They were still down by 2 scores.
Even if
when they
you
didn't
play
get
it out,
So
they ended up onside kicking and they didn't get it with 6.5 minutes left. If you kick deep, and then they ended up forcing a 3 and out, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you kicked it deep and forced a 3 and out, now you have the ball, say, at your own 35, and now you have a chance to go down and score instead of getting it, deep in your own territory. Now, I know Cleveland wasn't scoring. I watched the game. They weren't scoring 3 times in a row, but I just think you eliminated your chances to come back with that decision. I think the wind all came out of the sails of the Browns.
Yeah, and you saw it after that,
They had
too.
a little momentum at that point.
They did.
A little.
I mean, they finally got down there.
Deuce was worried.
I was worried.
Now, in fairness to Deuce, he's always worried. but I
want to win.
It's better to be down 8 than 9.
Yeah,
right?
It absolutely is. I don't think that's a hot take or something that
It's
you should
not
feel
ideal.
bad about being dismissive
And yet
of
I'm
people
still waiting for
who think
someone
that
to
9's
call
better
in
than
and
8 or
say,
whatever.
Listen,
yeah.
and he's right. The email is right. I can be dismissive of some of these things. Sometimes I have a tonality issue. This is not one I'm being dismissive of. I promise you, if you can explain it to me and tell me why I have it wrong, I'll hear it.
Yeah,
right. But I need to agree with you. Like I'm not just going to pretend that you're right.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're out of time. So if anybody wanted to call in and explain
write
why
us an email.
9 is
We'll
better
be
than
back
8,
in
we're
2 days.
out of
Are
time
we leaving
here.
that guy on the phone?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to call it a night right there. Want to say thanks to Dietrich Wise for calling in. Obviously, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, Tamara Brown from pregame, Matt Morrell, Matt LePan, everybody involved in the broadcast. I'm Christian Arkand. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Patriots will be back Monday night for the Chicago Bears, and I'll talk to you then here on Patriots.com.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.